Good evening. Okay, so attempt number two for me to try and define who I am, what I am, where I am. I was advised by counsel, a very good friend, who's one of those that I look up to, a huge peer who stands out and wants to help other people, whose main goal is helping other people and ends up doing really well for himself. Um, won't mention any names. Should he wish to, he can identify himself. So, let me just try and get comfortable. Okay, so my name is John. I'm 34 years old, and I work in construction. I don't think you need to know too much more than that. And I feel that tonight specifically, I remember how my grandfather used to share stories of how he trekked through Africa at the time of the Second World War, and he was basically hitchhiking. In some ways, he says he was on his way to the war, but in other ways, you think that, okay, well, you know what, if he really wanted to go and fight, he would have made a plan and actually participated in some form of army. Whichever way, he was making his way to England, and he got quite far through Africa, but he told remarkable stories, and I quite like the old man. This is relevant because I think today that I should rather consider myself more a storyteller than an influencer or something of the like. This is not really for major views. My goal is not to make money. My goal is not to submit videos every week. I just can't. Oftentimes I have a lot to share, and most often I feel sorry for the people around me who get it without even necessarily wanting it. But whatever I say, I consider to be seed. That should it wish to grow, should it be nurtured, it would. And sure as shit, it will add value. I quite like that term these days. I read a quote not too long ago. Can't tell you by who. Names don't come very easily. I'm not necessarily such a detailed person that will remember that, but for context, I would say the quote read, it's for lack of knowledge, or the lack of knowledge causes death, or the lack of wisdom causes death. And in today's day and age, you would think that if you aren't wise, if you don't understand the way of the world, if you don't understand where you're going, your environment, etc., even children. Had an interesting conversation with one of my colleagues who's my assistant, that if you don't know, you're going to get blindsided. And how can you treat something if you don't know what it is? Same applies to psychology, same applies to medicine. How can you treat a cancer if you don't know it's a cancer? So I've gone and I've asked many questions, to myself, to other people. I've done some reading, and I've done a lot of thinking. I've spent much of time on the road, where I would have hours and hours and hours on end to myself, and I relish these moments. I can quite easily drive from here to Cape Town on my own, in my own company, and get some real value out of it, because I'm just busy, I think, in general. So what you'll be getting from me is information regarding society, information regarding psychological analysis, maybe agricultural here and there, animals, or relation between your dog and your child, or between animals and humans, and how they are actually not all that different psychologically. and mostly I think what our purpose is here. You know, I'm scared to touch on that because and it's ever more present, and it's ever more relevant, that you need to discover why you're here, and everyone has the wrong concept. So to shatter your world is that you are effectively not here for you. If you're Christian, which I would hope that the most of my audience are, um, if you want something of this world, you're of this world. If you know your Bible, do not conform to this world. So you will very often also find me quoting verses, might have been misquoted, but within the context, it is correct. You're more than welcome to Google the terms, and if you have a dispute, list it. We can discuss, we can negotiate. So yeah, that's me for today. 6 minutes again. We're not going to be able to keep these videos short, man. Good luck, have fun, have a good evening.